across China from last 7 days, people are facing problem in accessing social media, Weibo and WeChats. They are facing problem. The service is running slow. The service are being blocked. And when the question was asked to the Chinese government, the reply was given that they are just censoring the rumors which are unverified. This is what a reply. But people are facing problems, and in fact, the reports are suggesting that people are complaining about not being able to access the social media. Weibo and WeChat are widely used in China. Also, the protest that happened today, this was again the zero COVID policy of Xi Jinping, which is being heavily criticized because the testing is going on all across China. The quarantine is going on, and people are being harassed on the name of zero COVID policy.
Well, very dramatic tweets that came in saying a banner against Xi Jinping is raised at the Sitong Bridge, Haidian district. Beijing admire the courage of this man, but when the giant ship sank, the screams of the passengers were only the meaning of tragedy. The Great Translation Movement. Now, this hashtag of the Great Translation Movement has been going on for a while. There is also this whole aspect of Tuidiang, that is, see democracy or say no to no to PLA kind of a thing.
Correct.
So this has been championed for a while now.
But that's what, Anand, it has a lot to do with the dissent within the Communist Party, because she is repeating the third term, is going to repeat the third term. And in fact, we have also been told, Anand, that he's going to get the title of the leader, which the great leader. This title was given to Mao. He was the only who got this title. And she has, eliminated all his rival within the party by slapping corruption charges on them. So few are remaining, those who are challenging Xi's power. This time around, they are also going to get eliminated. So these protests, the dissent which is brewing, has more to do with the dissent within the Communist Party. And less than 48 hours are remaining. More than 2,300 delegates are going to attend this great choreographed Communist Party conference, where all these coterie, the elite coterie of grandees unite, and then they select their leader. And she is also going to deliver a speech. He's also going to talk about all the works that he has done in last 5 years, and then he's going to get the third term as the General Secretary of the party.
More importantly, whether or not he is going to be talking about his expansionist design. It'll all be hidden in the passages or certain choice of words which will be done, and analysts would see how aggressive he's going to get. Like you said, he's followed on the footsteps of Mao. He's trying to portray himself as the next Mao of China, and also trying to outline that entire vision that was laid out by Mao in 1949 of where China needs to be by 2049, 100 years later. So all of that coming to play. Siddhant, thank you for your inputs. That's all we have time for in this edition of The Nation at 5. Viewpoint with Zaka right now.
Hello and welcome to Viewpoint. I'm Zaka Jacob. A significant development in the Gyanvapi case today, where a district court in Varanasi ordered that the Hindu side's petition of asking for carbon dating of the object that was found at the Wazukhana, which the Hindu side claims is a shivling, the Muslim side claims is nothing but a fountain. Today the court has said that there does not need to be any carbon dating, or for that matter any scientific process to investigate the date of origin of that object. Now, the Hindu side, of course, is saying that they will challenge this in a higher court, presumably the High Court in Allahabad. But short of that, carbon dating was the only scientific means to establish how old this particular object was. And if the Hindu side is not able to establish the age of that object, then there will be a lesser chance of them being able to prove their case that this was indeed a shivling. So how does one see the order of the Varanasi district judge today? Does the Hindu side still have elbow room for an appeal and try and reverse this decision? And was the judge simply trying to put an end to this controversy, a full stop to this controversy, by taking the position that he cannot order carbon dating of this fountain or shivling, call it what you want, because it would go against the Supreme Court's order, which is to preserve the monument as is?
The twists and turns continue in the Gyanvapi case. Now the Varanasi District Court has rejected the Hindu side's demand for carbon dating of the shivling found inside the mosque complex. The court said any survey like a carbon dating will be in violation of Supreme Court's order of sealing of the Wazukhana where the shivling was found. The court also said that any harm to the structure will violate the top court's order to protect the shivling, and that any harm to the shivling will also hurt religious sentiments and lessen chances of a resolution to the legal dispute.
इस ऑर्डर के अगेंस्ट हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट जाएंगे, इस ऑर्डर को हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट में चुनौती देंगे, ये ऑर्डर अगेंस्ट द रिकॉर्ड है.
The shivling was found during a video survey carried out in the Gyanvapi mosque complex on the orders of a lower court, in response to a petition filed by 5 Hindu women who wanted to pray at a shrine inside the mosque. The Muslim side maintains that the object that is being called a shivling is actually a fountain used for purification rituals. The Hindu petitioners had requested a scientific investigation, including carbon dating, to establish the age of the shivling.
Welcome the judgment of the civil court regarding the carbon dating issue of the shivling. The Honorable Supreme Court has ordered that the whole of the Wazukhana must be sealed. How can any activity or carbon dating can be done?
Last month, the Varanasi District Court had ruled that the suit filed by the Hindu side is maintainable and that the Places of Worship Act does not bar from the suit being admitted. So what will today's verdict mean for this disputed religious structure?
All right, I want to first go across to my colleague Pranshu Mishra, who's joining us live from Varanasi. You've gone through the detailed order of this single judge, the district judge of Varanasi. What is the rationale behind not allowing carbon dating? Is the judge going too technical into the order of the Supreme Court that the Wazukhana has to be sealed and there should be no distortion or disruption to the Wazukhana? But how does that take away from the carbon dating plea which the Hindu side had asked for?
Well, Zaka, see, it's a 5-page order, and the Hindu side, and we all have been talking about the fact that how the court has observed that this entire area was sealed by the Supreme Court order dated 16th of May this year, and therefore the court says that, any order at this stage will be actually meaning the interference into the Supreme Court's order of the status quo of the sealing of that area. But there's also another very important mention which the district judge makes. District judge clearly says that, all these demands of ASI probe, carbon dating, the court doesn't feel that this will be actually helpful in addressing the original petition or the original request that was made in the suit. Now, the original request was simply of the 5 Hindu women litigants seeking a right of daily worship of Ma Shringar Gauri. And then we saw that how this case actually meandered its way to different issues, and the focus came on the issue of that disputed structure, which the Hindu side claims is a shivling and the Muslim side says is a fountain. The present application which was being disposed by the court today was about determining the exact nature of the shivling, and therefore the court, in a very important state observation, also said that all these demands are not going to be helpful as far as the issue of deciding the original suit is concerned, the original suit of Ma Shringar Gauri is concerned. And I think therefore by this order, the court has also tried to bring back the focus on the original issue before the court, and that original issue is not about the shivling but about deciding that whether the 5 Hindu women litigants have a right of daily worship of Shringar Gauri or not.
In fact, we'll be speaking to one of those original 5 petitioners who moved the court for allowing prayers across the year. Right now, prayers are offered on one day of the year. But we'll leave it at that, Pranshu Mishra, for joining us. Let me now open this up to our guests. Dr. Geeta Bhatt, academician, joining us. Ashwini Dubey of the Supreme Court will be joining us as well. Muzakir Zama Khan is a lawyer with the Muslim side. Tausif Ahmed Khan, advocate and political analyst. And Manju Vyas, like I said, is one of the original petitioners, so she'll be joining us. Geeta Bhatt, let me start with you, ma'am, first. Because essentially what the court is saying is, and the court is going by the letter and the spirit of the Supreme Court judgment, that nothing should happen to the Wazukhana. It should be a sealed area. There should be no either structural or temporal changes to that area. So the court is saying, how can you possibly expect carbon dating? Because this object that's been discovered there, whether it's a shivling or a fountain, is also part of the Wazukhana complex.
Yeah, Zakar, you see, with due respect to the judgment that has been given in the Gyanvapi case, you see, we also have to look into the fact that the leeway that has been taken by the judge and by the court is that the original petition which was filed was actually regarding the plea of 5 women who had requested for the Gauri Shankar, allowed to be doing the praying in the Gauri Shankar temple. But when later on, when this plea was added that the carbon dating of the shivling should be allowed, so in this leeway has been taken. However, the fact remains that there could always be a separate petition which could be added, and in which this particular prayer could be put forth.
Okay.
And the fact remains that in the court of law, it is the evidence and the facts which are
Correct.
going to stand. So, keeping that in mind, and carbon dating is a very scientific method which in archaeology is used to find out the exact date of that
Object.
particular
Yeah.
object. So there is no harm in doing so, and in nowhere in the Supreme Court order it has been said that there cannot be a carbon date. You have to keep it protected, but that does not mean that you cannot find out the age of that.
So let me ask Ashwini Dubey, Supreme Court advocate, the original petitioners, the 5 petitioners, the women who moved the court, were essentially asking for one basic plea, which is that they be allowed to pray at Mata Shringar Gauri for all 365 days of the year, not just one day in a year. The fact that the Hindu side, and of course a lot of advocates are arguing for the Hindu side, the fact that they changed their position from that, which the original petitioners had, to doing this carbon dating on this structure that's been found, was that a mistake? Because as the judge said in his judgment too, you can do all the carbon dating in the world, but that's not going to make a material difference to the original petition moved by the 5 petitioners, the 5 women.
Yes, thank you, Zaka, for having me here. See, the order passed by the district judge is appealable order. That is subject to judicial review. Now, second, the 5 original petition was that these 5 devotees have a right, pre-existing right, which was existing prior to 1993 when by order of an executive order, by virtue of an executive order, then state government took over that right that they used to perform Mata Shringar Gauri's puja every day. So this position is clear. And now the second prayer is that any visible or invisible god, goddess found within the municipal limit 5180 or something plot number, which includes the entire plot number, that they should be permitted to perform puja. By virtue of the court commissioner's order, it was found that Lord Shivling was found there and Shivling was protected by virtue of Supreme Court order. Now, moving an application does not mean that they are changing the essential character of the case. Why? There is a reason behind that. Because the appointing the commission is well within the domain of the civil justice. 2, to ascertain the age of that Shivling which was found there, because prayer B is there, visible and invisible, God and goddess, including Mata Shringar Gauri and Shivji, which will be found there during the this commission. 3rd, so far as this carbon dating is concerned, that will ascertain the age of the Shivling which is found there, because that is the only.
No, but that has not been allowed by the court today. So how are you going to ascertain? How are you going to ascertain the age then? And the age is critical to prove that this is indeed a Shivling and not a fountain, as the Muslim side claims. So now that the court has rejected that, how are you going to go about this?
In Deen Muhammad's case, which is one of the main case referred in the cases filed by the 5 devotees, it has been categorically stated inside the body of the case that in 1936, when Deen Muhammad instituted case against then state of India, is stating that look, this belongs to the Gyanvapi mosque, where the statement of 6 or 7 Hindus and priests were recorded. In that statement, it was found that 1669 or 1659, that was invaded. Before that, the temple exists. That has been categorically referred in the court. So it is not that they have not
Dubeji, you are missing the point. The point is, like I said, the original petition was for worship throughout the year. That got changed. Secondly, without having carbon dating or any other scientific investigation, how are you going to prove the age of the object that was recovered at the Wazukhana? Because without proving the age, you're not going to be able to prove that this was a Shivling and not a fountain, as the Muslim side claims. But let me ask Muzakir Zama Khan, who is a lawyer with the Muslim side, just because the district judge has not allowed carbon dating, A, as Mr. Dubey said, it's an appealable order, they will definitely go to the High Court, and B, the judge in this case, in my humble opinion, seems to have taken the Supreme Court's order of protecting the Wazukhana very, very literally. It doesn't mean that nothing can happen at the Wazukhana. It doesn't mean that there can't be a scientific probe in objects and structures found inside the Wazukhana.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Jacob. The today's judgment clearly said that Supreme Court protected the site. That means the junior judge is not having any power to intervene into the site, and that's clear from the words of the judgment of the junior judge. And the first point you are talking about is that who is having the right to declare the age of the site? Yeah, by which way we are going to declare the age of the site? So I don't think that in this particular case there is a need to declare the site, the age of the site. What is the need of that? For what purpose they are seeking the age of the site? I am not getting their point, and that's why the plea.
No, not the age of the site. What the
is
contention of the Muslim side, the Hindu side, is that the shivling was discovered inside the Wazukhana, and to establish that the shivling predated the existence or the coming up of the structure of the mosque, then the only way you can prove that is by carbon dating or any other scientific method.
Even though it is protected by the 1991 Act, then what?
No. You go back to the previous order of the court. It did not.
Act then?
It said very clearly, 1991 Act does not bar a petition being moved. It very clearly said Order 7, Rule 11 will not apply. You know that. That's what was said in the last order. Of course, it is sub judice.
None of the order till date is final order. Still, the matter is prejudice.
Yes.
So let the final judgment come. Then we will decide.
Okay. Let me also go across to Sita Sahu. She's one of the 5 women who moved the petition. The original petition was to worship. Sita ji, ये बताइए, आपका जो पहला मुकदमा जो था, आपका प्ली जो था, ये सिर्फ यही था कि आप साल भर माता श्रृंगार गौरी का पूजा और दर्शन करें, यही था आपका पिटिशन. इसमें से ये कार्बन डेटिंग, शिवलिंग, ये आपका पूरा पिटिशन कब बदला और कैसे बदला, और आपको लगता है कि ये बदलने की वजह से आज जो ऑर्डर आया है वो हिंदू पक्ष के खिलाफ है?
देखिए, हिंदू पक्ष के खिलाफ नहीं है. सुप्रीम कोर्ट में हम लोग जाएंगे. वैसे पहले ही सुप्रीम कोर्ट में ये गया था कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ही इसे जिला जज में भेजा था, लेकिन आज जो फैसला आया है तो हम लोग दोबारा से सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जाएंगे. और रही बात जो आप ये पूछ रहे हैं कि हम लोग का पहले श्रृंगार गौरी, तो हाँ, श्रृंगार गौरी की पूजा पाठ के लिए हम लोगों ने याचिका डाला था, लेकिन वहाँ महादेव जी भी मिले हैं, और शिव के बिना शक्ति के बिना शिव और शिव के बिना शक्ति अधूरे हैं. तो हम लोग को दोनों ही चाहिए. हम लोग ने अपनी याचिका में ये डाला भी है कि वहाँ कई महादेव हैं, महादेव जी हैं, माँ गौरा पार्वती हैं, माँ श्रृंगार गौरी हैं, कार्तिकेय जी हैं. हम लोग की याचिका में लिखा हुआ है.
तो आप ये कह रहे हैं कि आपका जो पहला याचिका था, ओरिजिनल पिटिशन जो था कि आप साल भर पूजा कर सकें, दर्शन कर सकें, वो आप उसको बदल रहे हैं और आप कह रहे हैं कि अभी जो बाबा मिल गए तो उसका कार्बन डेटिंग हो, उसका कोई साइंटिफिक इन्वेस्टिगेशन हो, ताकि ये प्रूव हो जाए कि ये जो वहाँ पे जो स्ट्रक्चर मिला है वो शिवलिंग ही था और वो मस्जिद आने के पहले से ही वहीं था. ये आपका अभी नया आपका जो प्रेयर है, अभी का जो आपका याचिका है, वो ये है.
हम लोगों ने ये जब देखिए हमारे शिवलिंग मिले, हम लोग को पूरा विश्वास है कि वो शिवलिंग है, लेकिन अगला पक्ष कह रहा है कि फव्वारा है, तो वो कैसे साबित होगा? जब तक उसका जांच नहीं होगा तब तक ये कैसे पता चलेगा? वो हमारे भावनाओं को आहत करते रहेंगे, हमारे शिवलिंग को फव्वारा फव्वारा कह रहे, तो जब तक जांच नहीं होगा तब तक पता कैसे चलेगा? और हम लोगों ने अपने बात में ये रखा भी, हम लोग ने याचिका में रखा कि शिवलिंग को कोई भी उसमें कोई छेड़छाड़ किए बिना, कोई उससे क्षति पहुंचाए बिना उसका जांच हो.
नहीं, वो कैसा होगा? नहीं, वही तो आज जज ने भी कहा उनके ऑर्डर में कि बिना उसको कोई छेद पहुंचाते हुए कैसे आप इन्वेस्टिगेशन करेंगे? वो तो पॉसिबल ही नहीं है जज साहब के ऑर्डर के मुताबिक. तो इसीलिए उन्होंने खारिज कर दिया आपका हिंदू पक्ष का जो प्ली था.
इसकी बात नहीं है. जज ने ये कहा है कि ये आपका सुप्रीम कोर्ट में गया था और सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये वहाँ पे रोक लगाई हुई है, तो आप सुप्रीम कोर्ट मैं कैसे इसका जजमेंट दे सकता हूँ, जो कि ये होना चाहिए था। हालांकि पक्ष में हम लोग के आज नहीं आ पाया, लेकिन हम लोग सुप्रीम कोर्ट जाएंगे, क्योंकि सुप्रीम कोर्ट में पहले भी हम लोग जा चुके हैं और सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ही इसे जिला जज में भेजा था। लेकिन जिला जज ने शायद उस बात को गौर नहीं किया।
So Tawseef Ahmed Khan, basically what Sita Sahu is saying is that today's judgment, the judge has refused the Hindu side's plea on a technicality, and the technicality is that the Supreme Court had ordered for the protection of this Wazukhana. Tomorrow, if the Hindu side goes to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court removes that technicality, then we are back to square one. Then the judge is free to order carbon dating or any other scientific investigation to prove, or to find out, to probe rather, how old this structure is, or this object that was found there, which the Hindu side is claiming is a shivling and the Muslim side is claiming is a fountain. So it's a technicality.
You see, Zaka, law cannot be seen with a technical lens. You have to take a holistic approach. The current issue is very contentious. You see, on one side we have the act which bars changing the nature of any religious site which is standing as it is from 1947 after the independence. And on the other side, we have the Supreme Court Babri judgment that was delivered by the Supreme Court, which records this fact and which assures that this act, the Presence of Worship Act, is a guarantee that going forward no further religious structures, nature would be changed. Now, in this backdrop, the question that court considers is that can the court, by judicial process, create facts on the ground to determine the nature of the Gyanvapi mosque so that it can be changed? So
No, one second. Tawseef. One clarification. It's not the court's job to change the nature of the place of worship. What the court was asked of by the Hindu side was, can you order an investigation, whether it's carbon dating or any other investigation, to find out how old this particular structure is? That's all they've asked for. Now the courts are not experts in this. They'll have to go back to archaeologists, they'll have to go back to scientists to find out how old this structure is.
You see, court, there comes a time after certain facts are created on the ground, then there will come a time where court will say, oh, I am sorry, I can't do anything because a certain incident has happened. Like in Babri Masjid case, had the mosque been standing there, then we all know the judgment would have been different. The court accepted that since the masjid has been demolished, the Babri mosque was demolished, court had no other alternative but to hand the land to the Hindu side and awarded an alternate site.
Okay.
Here, court is trying to preempt. Like the law gives us, law is very clear that we have to preempt any untoward incident from happening. Like illegal ex parte order was passed, after which the Wazu Khana was sealed. Even though court has allowed the Muslim side to continue with the namaz and continue with the wazu.
Yeah.
Now, today the very technical question is, can carbon dating determine, is relevant to examine the stone?
Which is why I believe the Hindu side had also remedied their petition from just carbon dating to quote unquote any other scientific investigation to know the age of the object that was found there. But let me go back to Geeta Bhatt. The point, Geeta Bhatt, is I think Sita Sahu did not call it a setback. Of course, you can appeal today's order. But the reason why today's order came about is because there was a shifting of the goalposts. There was a shifting of the petition. The petition originally was for plea to worship 365 days in a year as opposed to just one day. And that then got construed into, this structure that was found, and the Hindu side claiming it's a shivling, the Muslim side claiming it's a fountain. There was no need for that.
Well, you see, what developed during when the video recording was done and when they entered into the premises of the Gyanvapi structure, at that time it was discovered that this, shivling is over there, and which the Anjuman committee is disputing. So because of this, and it was definitely a revelation, it was, a lot of people were not knowing about it, although those who have been living, in that area and used to visit pre-1991, when there were no such restrictions, people used to go inside and they all knew that this existed there in the, on the walls, you can see the different gods and goddesses which have been carved out. It is only post 1991 that these restrictions came into play. So now you see, the fact is that once any scientific method is used to determine the age of the shivling, Zakaji, I am very sure that the findings will very clearly state the premises. Not only this, there are various underground rooms over there where there are various such artifacts. One can find out that exactly to which particular era they were built, and also Deen Muhammad's case was.
No. One second. I think we're confusing two facts. No. I think we're confusing two facts. One is, if you were to, and you're a historian, ma'am, so you go back and look at the history books from the 16th century, the 15th century. It is a very clear recorded fact of history that a temple used to exist there at the Gyanvapi site that was destroyed by Aurangzeb, and Aurangzeb put up a mosque in place of that site. Nobody is disputing that. No, nobody is disputing that.
Right.
What has happened subsequently in the modern era is, after Babri Masjid, there was this Places of Worship Act which said that the character of any religious institution as it stood in 1947 on 15th August should not be changed. Now, if you want to change that, and admittedly, if the petitioners were to be given access to pray every day, 365 days of the year, then you're changing the nature of that particular place of worship. Then, by all means, go ahead and amend that act. That is the point, Ashwini Dubey ji. Because which is why I keep going back. The original petition was for prayer throughout the year. Whether it is a shivling, whether it is a fountain, is immaterial to the original prayer.
Jacob bhai, give me 50 seconds and let me elaborate in your point of view. First, the Places of Worship Act will apply if there will be an attempt to change the religious character of a place. 2. Places of Worship Act and the Ayodhya judgment is concerned. Ayodhya judgment does not bar from asking to restore a pre-existing right which was taken away by virtue of an executive order in 1993. That is the daily puja which was being offered. This is an admitted fact. 3. So far as the ascertaining the age of a object, I do not say it's a shivling. To ascertain the object which the Muslim side is saying that's the fawara, Hindu side is saying no, it's a shivling. The only way out where court will reach to the conclusion, because there was pre-existing right to perform the puja at the same place. That is the carbon dating. But carbon dating issue is closed by the trial court. That has to be looked into by the civil court or appellate court. Its own wisdom. I am not disputing that. Third point which you are saying, that the prayer A is Article 25 of the Constitution of India, right to propagate, profess, preach. Prayer B is that anything, if it is found during the hearing of this case in visible and invisible form, that should be protected. That's exactly the prayer B says, and the state government and the district authorities should be directed to protect it. Prayer C is that in the performance of the daily puja, there should not be any obstruction, and the state government should be directed to protect our life and liberty. These are the prayers. And the court is there. Yes, Jacob.
Muzakir Zama Khan, I'll give you the final word. So again, I keep going back to it because I think today's order is based on the technicality that the Supreme Court had said, seal the area of the Wazukhana. If the Supreme Court in its wisdom were to relook at that technicality, then this order will get reversed very soon.
No, Mr. Jacob, the technicalities is not about the only within the domain of Supreme Court judgment. The technicality is also today's judgment is also based on a point that what is the fruitful result which affect the proceeding if the age of the site was declared by that scientific method. What is the purpose of that procedure, or it is the only a delay tactic, I think. To delay the matter, to politicize the matter. The petition was changed to politicize the matter, to took this matter until 2024 to fight the matter on the basis of this judgment and this orders and all that. That's all. According to me, it's a politicization
So you are
of
saying
this
that this
proceeding.
is a political matter. It's less to do with faith, less to do with legal issues. We'll see how the story plays out. Obviously, the Hindu side will challenge this in the High Court and perhaps even knock the doors of the Supreme Court, because the judge today, the district judge, very clearly and explicitly stating in his judgment that since the Supreme Court had asked for this area to be sealed, any form of scientific investigation on any object found there, whether it's a shivling or a fountain, call it what you want, that will then be violative of the Supreme Court's order. I want to thank our guests, and I'm going to go to this piece of breaking news that's coming in. A court in Delhi now has framed charges against former Aam Aadmi Party councillor Tahir Hussain, as well as 5 others in a case relating to the 2020 Delhi riots. The court has noted that the accused persons, including Tahir Hussain, had entered into a conspiracy to kill Hindus. Remember, the Aam Aadmi Party had distanced itself from Tahir Hussain, but now a court has said that charges can be framed against the former Aam Aadmi Party councillor Tahir Hussain, as well as 5 others in a case relating to the 2020 Delhi riots. Remember, the Delhi police had raided his home right after he was taken into custody, and they had discovered tons of weapons, Molotov cocktails and other country-made weapons in his premises. Let me go across to Ananya, who has more details on this. Walk us through what else the court has said while saying that you can go ahead and frame charges against Tahir Hussain.
Well, in fact, Zaka, they have already framed charges under sections of attempt to murder, rioting, unlawful assembly. And this is the Delhi's Karkarduma court, which has in fact framed charges against Tahir Hussain and 5 other people into a case relating to the 2020 Delhi riots. In fact, the court, in its observations, clearly noted that the statement of witnesses and the evidence record clearly suggests that there was a conspiracy to go and kill Hindus. Is a very, very clear observation that has been made by the court. In fact, it has also been shown that the indiscriminate firing completely shows that the accused person wanted to kill Hindus. The intention was to kill Hindus in that particular area when riots had broken down in the northeast district of the national capital in February 2020. Post the central government actually brought in the anti-CAA bill. Remember that various protests had broken out and violence had broken out in specifically in the northeast area of the national capital. This is the FIR 91 and 92, in which charges have been framed not only against Tahir Hussain but 5 other people. But remember that Tahir Hussain's name is being said as the kingpin of this particular riot that had happened in the national capital, and in various court orders he has been referred to as a kingpin into this particular case. In fact, the charge sheets too entail down his role into this particular case. But now the court has now framed charges against Tahir Hussain under the charges of attempt to murder.
Ananya, we'll have to leave it at that. We're completely out of time. Ananya Bhatnagar there giving out the details of the court giving the go-ahead for framing of charges against Tahir Hussain. In a moment, Akanksha will be joining you with the biggest exclusive.
હીરાબા આવીને પાછા નાટકો કરે, આપણને બોલતા શરમ આવે એટલી મોટી ઉંમરના વ્યક્તિ વિશે, પણ એ લોકો નથી શરમાતા.
If you think abusing the Prime Minister's mother will help you gain political popularity in Gujarat, you are mistaken.
भाजपा नहीं बोल रही थी जब लाशें बिछाई गई थी पाटीदार नौजवानों के. हजारों नौजवानों के ऊपर आज भी मुकदमे हैं. माताओं के गोद खाली हुए हैं, गोद.
A very warm welcome. You're watching the biggest exclusive tonight with me, Akanksha Swaroop. Now, the Aam Aadmi Party's Gujarat chief, Gopal Italaia, was detained by the Delhi police on Thursday. This soon after Italaia was summoned by the National Commission of Women for his anti-Hindu and abusive remarks against Hindu women. Now, earlier this week as well, a video of Italaia had gone viral in which he can be heard berating the Prime Minister And in the latest, BJP leader and Union Minister Smriti Irani has launched a scathing attack on Gujarat's Aam Aadmi Party chief, calling him gutter mouth. This for passing derogatory remarks against Prime Minister Narendra Modi's mother, Hiraben. The defining moment, of course, yesterday was the agitation by the Patidar community in support of Gopal Italiya. But what stands out in the entire matter is the undying support extended by Aam Aadmi Party, especially its chief, Arvind Kejriwal, to Italiya, a man known to be a serial offender. At a time when the assembly election of Gujarat is round the corner, can the Aam Aadmi Party afford to support a blabber like Gopal Italiya? Well, let's also tell you what has been happening as far as Gopal Italiya is concerned. He's a serial offender, but let's also give you a timeline of how Italiya has resorted to using offensive language. On October 9th, the BJP released Italiya's old video in which he called the Indian Prime Minister Neech. October 10th, the Aam Aadmi Party says that BJP is afraid of Kejriwal's popularity. They are also trying to milk this as an election agenda because we all know the elections are around the corner in the state of Gujarat. On October 10 again, Italiya says that Patidar community has been targeted as he calls himself the messiah of the Patidar community. On October 11th, the BJP releases Italiya's another old video. And Italiya in the video is abusing temple priests. He is telling Hindu women not to go to the temples because that, according to him, is a place where women are exploited. On October 13th, the NCW summons Italiya over anti-women videos. Remember, this was just yesterday. The Delhi police detains Italiya and questions him for 3 hours. Kejriwal says, outrage in Patidar community. He also stepped out in defense of Gopal Italiya. The Patidar community members staged a protest, and that was yesterday on October 13th itself. The BJP releases Italiya's another video, something that we were referring to as Italiya has insulted Prime Minister Modi's mother in this video, and this is the video that Smriti Irani has also been referring to. The BJP today protested against Gopal Italiya. That is the entire timeline and sequence of this entire controversy. In the meantime, let's also bring you a conversation that Gopal Italiya had with our correspondent Rupashri Nanda. Let's listen in to what Italiya has to say in his defense.
जब पुलिस स्टेशन गए तो वहाँ पे क्या-क्या पूछताछ हुई आपको?
वो मैंने जैसे पीसी में बताया कि ज़्यादा कोई कानूनी पूछताछ नहीं हुई, लेकिन मुझे ये समझाया गया कि भाई ये सारी चीज़ों में मत पड़ो, बीजेपी से पंगा मत लो, ये छोड़ दो सब। ने बोला सर वो मेरा काम है, लड़ाई लड़ना मैं लड़ता रहूँगा।
आपके बहुत सारे पुराने वीडियोस ट्वीट हो रहे हैं बीजेपी के हैंडल से। आज अमित मालविया ने भी एक वीडियो ट्वीट करा है जहाँ पे आपने अच्छे लैंग्वेज नहीं यूज करे पीएम के और उनके माँ के।
देखो पुराने तो सबका पुराना पुराना रहता है, क्या मतलब है कौन 10 साल पहले कौन क्या बोला क्या नहीं बोला। अब बात ये नहीं है ना कौन क्या बोला क्या नहीं बोला, बात ये है कि चुनाव है, पाटीदार समाज बीजेपी से नाराज है और ये लोग पाटीदारों से बदला लेने के लिए ये सब कर रहे हैं।
Alright, so the Patidar community has been surfacing very often in whatever that Gopal Italiya has to say. Let's also tell you why the Patidar vote matters, especially to the state of Gujarat. It's important to consider the fact that the Patidars constitute 16% of the state population. And not just that, the community comprises 60% Luvas and 40% of Kadwas. More than 2/3 have voted for the BJP since the 90s. And remember, it is this vote that the Aam Aadmi Party is targeting and is planning to disrupt. In 2017, 35% Patidars voted for the Congress party. In 2017, 61% Patidars voted for the BJP. So if you can see the pattern, there's clearly been a swing in the Patidar community's vote. But will the Aam Aadmi Party be able to command that kind of swing this time round as far as the assembly election of Gujarat is concerned? That's also a question that we will be debating. But for now, this is the question we are opening to our guests today. The Aam Aadmi Party defending the motor mouth Italia. Will it hurt Aam Aadmi Party's Gujarat dreams? And with that, let me open the dais to our guests. I'm joined in by Anuja Kapoor, who's the spokesperson for the BJP. Brinda Adige, who's a social activist. Japan Pathak, who's a senior journalist and a very well-known one from the state of Gujarat. I'm also joined in by Mr. Ravi Srivastava, who's a political analyst. Anuja, if I could come to you first, can the Aam Aadmi Party project itself as the messiah of the Patidar community or even the Dalits, when the chief of this very party remained silent when another politician of his party was conducting a mass conversion event on the day of Dussehra?
Very well said, Akanksha ji. You have seen that how Aam Aadmi Party has been coming out as a conversion party. You have seen that in 20 August, I think it was in 2021, when Arvind Kejriwal was present itself on this conversion of Hindus to Christianity. And now you have seen that in Gautam, in Rajendra Pal Gautam's time, when he was talking about from a conversion to Hindu to Buddhism. What we are seeing and what the people of Gujarat are seeing is the conversion party. That is how it is they are looking at. And that is how they're projecting themselves. You have also seen that they have a gutter mouth and a gutter politics. And this is how they're trying to do it in Gujarat. But they have forgotten that Gujaratis never defame their women, as Arvind Kejriwal defames his wife in politics. It's amazing to see the bedroom talks coming out. Now, when he speaks about his mother, Modi ji's mother, imagine, how do you feel when you talk about Modi ji's mother? Or he says Modi ji is a psychopath or whatever, Chowkidar, whatever he has been speaking. And now this guy is speaking about Nietzsche. Just give me one more minute. I just want to put it through that Aam Aadmi Party is walking on the steps of Mani Shankar Iyer, who has spoken against Modi ji in Gujarat, and you have seen what has happened to Congress. Now, very soon, they will show the back door to Aam Aadmi Party. And this is what we are also we are not doing anything. We are just standing at the back. We are going to see how Aam Aadmi Party will be thrown out of Gujarat. And you have seen that in C Motors survey of Janta Ka Mood, 135 to 143. Yes, seats are coming up in BJP Gujarat opinion poll on 47% vote. And Patidars have been voting for Gujarat for 27 years. The gutter mouth and the gutter politics cannot take away the Patidars who knows
Anuja,
development is.
There's a lot that you've said. I'm going to, in fact, take a response on that from Ravi Srivastava. Ravi Srivastava, you heard what Anuja has to say. While you respond to that, I'd like to ask you that Gopal Italia has been riding on the Patidar protest of yesterday. He has also gone on record to say that through this protest, the entire disdain that the BJP has for the Patidar community has been exposed. Is it fair to say that for a party that has a CM who belongs to the same community?
Thank you, Akanksha. First of all, CM belongs to that community, and the CM was running behind the Prime Minister's motorcade on foot. So that's the respect they give to a Patel community person. What they had done in past, some firing on the Patel youths, in which some were killed, that's the respect they have the Patidars Patel community. They have been voting for last 27 years. You rightly said it. This time, it is a situation has completely reversed. Now, the BJP spokesperson was talking about some gutter mouth. I think the Prime Minister is also falls in the same category when he uses the word Jersey cow, बारबाला, कांग्रेस की विधवा, दंगाई कपड़ों से पहचाने जाते हैं, etc., etc., urban naxal. These are the words from the gutter mouth Prime Minister also. As far as NCW protest is concerned, NCW had taken a cognizance of a remark against the Prime Minister from the video which is so old when
Akanksha ji,
Gopal Italia
this is the channel.
You know, this
we
is
to the Prime Minister called as
no,
a
no.
Let's
Let's not. No. Anuja, I'm going to intervene. Allow me to intervene, Anuja.
I'm sorry. I am not going to take President
Right.
Modi ji's
And rightly so. And rightly so. Rightly so.
This is
Ravi Srivastava, we should not.
Say anything, ma'am.
No,
Didn't say anything. Very bad.
I have to let him complete, Anuja. I have to let him complete.
But don't encourage him.
No, I am not encouraging him. Ravi Srivastava. No.
Sorry.
Ravi Srivastava, that certainly cannot be said for a man who's holding a prime ministerial position. B, you cannot bank on the defense that the video belonged to 10 years ago or whether it's 5 years ago. Why can't your party just own up that the man in the video is Gopal Italia? Why are you digressing from the fact that the man in the video is Gopal Italia?
I do not speak false things. I speak truth and the bare truth.
So tell me the truth. Who is the man in the video?
The bare truth is the Pravesh Verma was abusing Arvind
Again, you are digressing. Ravi Srivastava, Aam Aadmi Party and Aam Aadmi Party sympathizers have only been banking on one very lame argument, which is digress.
If you also want to interrupt, it is your choice. I can't help it.
Ravi Srivastava, I have a very simple question. Who is the man in the video? I am asking you, who is the man in the video? Is it not Gopal Italia?
It is Gopal Italia, whether he is or not.
You've answered me. Brinda Adige, if I could bring you in on this.
The video is doctored.
Okay.
The video is
Brinda, if I could bring you in on this to come to the defense of a man like Gopal Italia, who has not only abused the Prime Minister of the nation but has passed misogynist comments against the women of the country. What does it speak of the party like Aam Aadmi Party?
Your perception. I cannot correct your perception.
Right. Allow Brinda to speak, Ravi. Please allow Brinda to speak. This ought to be a civil debate. Please allow Brinda to speak.
First and foremost, Aam Aadmi Party's Gopal Italia must understand that he is a public figure representing a party. He has no right to speak disrespectfully and use any kind of derogatory words to anybody, least of all to our Prime Minister. Irrespective of what his concerns might be about the Prime Minister, his job is to be professional. Using derogatory language is unacceptable, and Aam Aadmi Party should not make excuses for this man. You need to pull this man up. Secondly, who is he to tell women what they should do or what we should not do? Who is he to tell women that you don't go to the temples, don't listen to Path, don't listen to the Vedas, or don't listen to the priests? Isn't it our choice? And do you think that we are so stupid that we need somebody like a Gopal Italia to come and tell women, this is correct, this is not correct? Leave it to us. Please do not underestimate our wisdom. Women have enough intelligence and wisdom to decide what we want. You do not have to come and interfere into such matters, especially religion, which is an absolutely personal space. We decide, we choose what we want to do. That said, I think it would be good for Aam Aadmi Party and for Gopal Italia to apologize. Apologize to the women, and yes, certainly apologize to the Prime Minister too.
In fact, that's a very interesting point that you've made, and I'm going to take a response from Ravi Srivastava. There's a lot of answering to be done by Aam Aadmi Party. I'm going to come to you, Mr. Srivastava, in just a bit. For now, let me also go across to Japan Pathak, who's been very patiently awaiting his turn. Japan, many critics and political analysts have called it a deliberate strategy by the Aam Aadmi Party to support a serial offender like Gopal Italia. How do you react to that?
Well, one of many reasons why BJP repeatedly succeeds in Gujarat is that the party has shaped itself in accordance with what the characteristics of the people of Gujarat are. Now, AAP is trying to display and present itself as party that is also a flavor of Gujarat. But this is not flavor of Gujarat. The videos that we are seeing is Mr. Gopal Italia. He says that women should not go to mandirs or katha sessions because exploitation is going out there. Now, Gujarati voters, average Gujarati voter is very dharmic. and Mr. Kejriwal was deliberately distancing himself from anything that has to do with this religious polarization or something which would displease the Hindus. So this Bilkis Banu case, he would never touch in Gujarat. The Maulanas he pays, his government pays Maulanas in Delhi, that he would never tell here to even in Muslim meetings. So Mr. Italia's such video that he says that women are exploited in mandirs and dharmic kathas, that definitely hurts AAP's chances when it is an emerging party in Gujarat and it is introducing itself to Gujarat, to the people of Gujarat. Then another video comes in which he calls Mr. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, son of soil, Neech. And then he also involves Prime Minister's mother, 100-year-old
and forgetting the fact that the Prime Minister belongs to the state.
And Mr. Italia, even if it doesn't belong to the state, even if not, is not Gujarati, but how can you say in public discourse, you can say someone Neech, or you can involve Prime Minister's mother who is not into politics. She has nothing to do with politics, active politics. But Mr. Italia goes on to say and calls Prime Minister's mother as Natakbaj, Nautanki-baj. Now, when such videos are circulated, see, you may be aware with this term Gujarati Asmita, but there is also another word, Sanskarita. And this is not in accordance to Sanskarita of Gujarat, because Gujarat is the land of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Mahatma Gandhi, Morarji Desai, Kannelal Munshi, and there is decency in public discourse of Gujarat politics.
You know,
so I think,
and speaking of that decency, Ravi Srivastav, let's talk about that decency that we've just heard from Mr. Japan. The fact of the matter is that there could have just been an apology, you know, whether there is a Rajendra Pal Gautam or even what we've heard coming from Gopal Italia.
He has not regretted, yes. That
why
is
is there
point.
no regret?
Mr. Italia has not
In Rajendra Pal Gautam's case, Arvind Kejriwal remained silent. He was a mute spectator. He did not go on record to dismiss that mass conversion event. In Italia's case, there's been brazen, undying support being extended. What explains that? Why couldn't there be an apology come in and wrap up the matter? Both the parties would have perhaps left it at that.
So you have in this debate 3 people on one side, and I am defending AAP alone. No
That's
problem.
because there's video evidence against a man who happens to be the Aam Aadmi Party Gujarat chief abusing the highest positions of the country. I am really sorry to say your sympathies perhaps lie with the wrong party right now.
Akanksha, allow me to speak.
Please go ahead.
If you also want to join 3 people, you become 4.
No, that's why I am allowing you to speak.
Okay,
Please
allow
go
me
ahead.
to speak now.
Right.
Okay. Now, first of all, Rajendra Pal Gautam. Let us start with him.
I can't justify a man like him.
You allow me to speak at least.
Please go ahead.
Expect us to condone what he has done?
What is this kind of a debate?
No. Ravi Srivastav, my apologies. Please go ahead.
Rajendra Pal Gautam attending 10,000 people conversion ceremony, which happens every year, and that was attended by none other than Fadnavis, Gadkari, and Mr. Modi also in Nagpur. And all those 22 shapath are written on a Shillalekh in Nagpur. So instead of blaming Rajendra Pal Gautam,
are you talking about vows which aim to offend Hinduism, which talk about bashing Hinduism? Are those shapaths?
All 22 pledges you talk about, why 4 only? Talk about all, you don't. So the issue is, he has resigned gracefully.
Rajiv ji, you are out.
No, Anuja, let's hear what he has to say, please.
He's out of context.
No, Ravi, please go ahead.
Hey, I am out of context. What context do you have? You are rattled in Gujarat completely. Do you know that you don't have anything to show in 27 years?
It's okay.
You have got 4,000 tons of that drug out of the there.
It's okay.
You have
Don't shout.
leaked
Sir,
papers there.
don't shout.
And let me talk about Mr.
Right. Ravi, let's
Japan Pathak. No, please. Japan Pathak's response. Religion does not give you the bread and butter.
Religion does not give you the job. Religion
Aam
does
Aadmi
not
gives
give
you
the
bread and butter,
education.
freebies.
Religion does
But
not give you the
politics,
health.
but politics doesn't
Religion-
allow you to get
religion
abusive
has-
and forget this.
religion is
No, no, no,
bad.
no, but politics also doesn't allow you to abuse.
Religion does-
Ravi?
Good, very good, very good. Keep on, carry on, please.
No, Ravi, what explains?
not allowing
Anuja,
me to
please
speak.
let Ravi speak. Ravi, what explains this kind of abusive language that Gopal Italiya has been time and again resorting to? We know that there's been FIR also against him in the past. What explains support to such a serial offender?
I am asking a question. NCW called him to Delhi. He on an issue that he had accused Prime Minister. What NCW has to do the Prime Minister's abuse? Is the Prime Minister a woman? No, he is not. So why should they bother? It's just to threaten Gopal Italiya, keeping him there for 2 hours and then releasing him. And he was welcomed.
आप ये
He
भी
was
नहीं
welcomed
जानते
by
कि प्राइम
welcomed by
मिनिस्टर
his
को गाली नहीं दी जाती। ये बात आपको मालूम है कि नहीं मालूम?
अरे यार आप
नहीं, आप इस बात को
मालूम
समझिए।
है, आपको मालूम है,
सर, आप भी
आपको
अपने घर
मालूम
में
है
बड़े
कि आप
हैं, इस बात को समझिए। आपको इस समझ में आनी चाहिए कि आप किस तरीके की भाषा का उपयोग करते हैं और आपके घर में भी बच्चे हैं छोटे। आप समझिए आप क्या चीज पर स्टैंड ले रहे हैं।
देखिए,
ये स्टैंड
अगर
ले रहे हैं जो
अगर
आप
आपको
गलत है रवि जी।
अगर आपको
आप इस
व्यक्तिगत
बात को
बातें करनी
समझिए।
है तो
और
मैं
इसी
इस डिबेट का
वजह
हिस्सा
से
नहीं
आज
बनूंगा।
तक आम आदमी
आपको
पार्टी ने
व्यक्तिगत
कोई
बातें
कर
करनी
सकते
है।
हैं।
All right,
आप अपने
Anuja,
जीवन में क्या
Anuja, I have a
करना है,
question.
उससे मुझे
I
कोई
have a
मतलब नहीं है।
question.
देखिए,
I have a question for.
Akansha,
Right.
Akansha, if the issue becomes personal, then I will
No.
abuse her.
No,
Tell
we are
her.
not going to get personal over here,
Why
Anuja.
she is getting personal in
No,
this?
no. This is an individual's agency to support a certain
Who are
party.
you to talk about my family? What
No,
business you
let's
have
not
with
get
my family?
personal over here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not get personal over here. No,
What kind of
no,
indecent
no.
people you have
We are
got
not
on the
going to
debate?
get personal over
They
here.
don't know the basic manners of debating.
No, no. Let's stick to the topic. Let's just stick to the topic. Japan Pathak, I'm going to come to you over as far as this entire strategy is concerned. Do you even think that, you know, supporting someone like Gopal Italiya was needed for an Aam Aadmi party? Because let's not forget that, you know, the Delhi model is what Kejriwal is also targeting for other states that he's trying to tap in, and that includes the state of Gujarat. Perhaps it is that so-called reverie culture that was also being alluded to, but whatever we may term it as, call it reverie culture or freebies, it has worked for a party like Aam Aadmi Party. Do you think that... No, but was a Gopal Italiya even needed in the first place?
Everyone knows in Gujarat that Mr. Italiya hit the headlines for the first time when he hurled a shoe at Minister of State for Home outside the Assembly complex. Then he had armed act under him. He was booked under Arms Act. And after that, Mr. Kejriwal, knowing this very well, he appointed him as State Party Unit Chief. So Mr. Kejriwal very well knows the antics of Mr. Gopal Italiya. It is, there is no wonder that he is endorsing him, because even in the past, Mr. Italiya was made run by the Brahmins in Somnath because he had made some remarks against Brahmins, against Kathakars. But even after that, he had not regretted. He never expressed regret that he commented in such a way. And even today, when he is criticized all over Gujarat, he has not expressed regret in any of press conferences. So, and Mr. Kejriwal knows this very well. So I am not surprised if Mr. Kejriwal is endorsing it. Now, they started playing Patidar card, that victimhood, that because I am Patidar, I am made victim. But yesterday in Varacha, Aam Aadmi Party or maybe Mr. Gopal Italiya in his personal capacity, and Varacha is stronghold of Patidars. And AAP had won several seats from the same area in local elections.
So you know, it's not just the Patidar. I'm going to also take in a comment.
But there were hardly, I'm just finishing, there were hardly 100 people in that support march. And a leading local daily of Surat, Gujarat Mitra, has today a 3-column article, and its heading is that this support march turned into a flop show. This is the reality on the ground. Even if you take that patidar victimhood in consideration.
And not just patidar victimhood, because we are talking about a man who's also lashed out at women. Brinda, if I could bring you in on this, how do you think this will bode with the women of Gujarat? It's a state which is known to honor its women. Has this not, the entire kind of commentary that has come in from Gopal Italiia, is this not going to place AAP on the back foot when it comes to the women's vote in the state?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because what Gopal Italiia is sending across, a strong message, a negative message, is that he will tell, or his party will tell, what is good for women, what they must do and what they must not do. And religion, Gopal Italiia and Aam Aadmi Party, you should know, is something that is almost an integral part of every or most Indians, and especially women. Now, you don't go and tell women, don't do this and don't do that, don't go to the temple and all of that. You're disrespecting women. How do you expect them to have any confidence in you? How do you expect them to think that you are going to respect them and their wisdom, and you are expecting them to vote for you? Is it not such an impossible task that you're setting yourself over there with? And what you should also remember is, in a public office, hold on, please hold on, I never disturbed you.
Yes, please let me
hold in public office, there is a ethical language that you speak with respect, with dignity, irrespective of what your concerns and criticisms might be. And what you have shown here is treating women as if they have no thought processes. You will tell them and they will listen to you. Why should they vote you into power? Why should they trust you? Why should they believe you and think that you are going to respect them in turn? Absolutely unacceptable. You need to understand that is a message that you're sending not only to women, but to the young people, not only of Gujarat, but to the nation. And you as a leader are expected to uphold those morals and those ethical standards.
All right, Ravi Srivastav, before you admonish me any further for not giving you enough time to speak, I'd like to have closing thoughts from you.
Thank you. The lady activist was just now talking about the...
The lady activist is Brinda. Her name is Brinda Adige.
No, yes. I mean, I don't personally go by name, but the lady activist, I have honorably said it. So my issue here is, I hope she is aware of the Swamis and the Babas in this country. I think she knows about the Swami Nityananda and his activities. I think she knows about the Asaram Bapu and his activities, who was Modi ji's guru as well.
Just imagine this person is now taking Swami ji's name with the Hindu and Sanatan Dharma. Imagine this guy.
I think she knows about Swami Chintayanand.
I would like to clap for you.
Charged for the rape.
I don't know how do you take stands with these people?
Italiia had only given an advice.
All right, let Anuja also speak. Anuja, you have 15 seconds before I call it a wrap. Anuja, please go ahead. Please finish.
Trying to understand that with Ravi Srivastav ji, I don't know why does he bring a temple and with the saints who were never gurus and they were the criminals and they are behind bars. Now, on that pretext, they're talking about, Amanutullah is still out with you. Your Satinder Jain ji, you have not taken them out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to call it a wrap. For once, if the Aam Aadmi Party could call a spade, perhaps it would work in their favor, especially in the upcoming elections, whether it is the state of Gujarat or even Himachal Pradesh. Many thanks to you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining my show. Up next is Plain Speak with Anusha Soni.
Good evening, hello and welcome to Plain Speak. I'm Anusha Soni. The Varanasi District Court has rejected the plea of the Hindu side for carbon dating of the disputed structure found within the Wuzu Khana of the Gyanvapi complex. A plain reading of that order, a two-page order, would tell you that the court has rejected the petition on the ground that the Supreme Court had ordered the sealing of the particular area, and the Supreme Court apprehended that the safety and the security of the structure needs to be protected and should not be jeopardized. The order, interestingly, is not passed on the merits of the application but on the questions of procedure. The fact that Wuzu Khana is sealed makes it obvious that one day or the other, the truth about the disputed structure has to be ascertained legally. Is this a setback to the Hindu side? Which way does it take the dispute, and what will be the next turn in this very sensitive legal tussle going on? our top focus today.